before starting my session to ask a question. How many of you are familiar with the name Larry Lu? Not you. Larry Lu. Yeah, of course. Anyone who have before used the cracked Perp suite version, they definitely know who is Larry Lu. So today I'll be speaking about like hunting the hunters, a research that I did for 1 year already on the dark web market, for which we are able to identify compromised employees and clients of companies, basically. And for that, I focused only today on the hunting platforms, like who is using HackerOne and his device is compromised. It's going to be interesting. Okay, the company that I work for at the moment is Visa, but I do have also my own startup, which is called Dark Entry, you see here. And this is the agenda for today. Before Visa, I was working at Deloitte, managing their team. At the moment, I'm managing the cybersecurity team at Visa in the Netherlands. Before that, I was managing the cybersecurity team also at Deloitte. And before that, I was a triage team member at HackerOne and so others. Okay, so Uber hack, the most famous one. How was Uber hacked? So an employee of Uber on his corporate laptop, like the Uber laptop, he was logged into Google Chrome. He opens Google Chrome, he logs into his Gmail account. Once you do that, Google Chrome will start syncing all your passwords to your Gmail account. So any Uber-related corporate credentials will be synced to your personal Gmail account. Later on, same employee from his Android device, he was logged into also his Gmail account. So all the passwords from the Android device was also synced to the same Gmail account. That user, on his home laptop, he downloaded a cracked game, like a game with a key generator, well, a compromised key generator. So he got infected. His machine got compromised with a malware, basically. That malware steals all the information from the device, including the passwords stored in the browser, or also sync it on the Gmail account, which eventually means he was able to steal Uber credentials from the personal laptop of the employee. That's the scenario we are trying to explain here, and that's the scenario we are hopefully trying to help the companies avoid. Okay, when I say a malware stole data from the device, what type of data? And I'm going, of course, to show some of the files, but we refer to this as log files. Normally speaking, when you talk to someone who works in the cybersecurity, a log is basically something or some data produced by software, right? But in the info stealers or the malware's term, a log would mean a zip file or a RAR file that contains all the stolen data. I'm not sure if someone is actually raising the hand, but yeah. A log in the info stealer world means like a zip file or a RAR file that contains all the data stolen from a device. So when I say we have 10,000 logs, that means we have data from 10,000 compromised machine or laptop in that sense. Okay, when I say data, what do we mean by that? Here is the demonstration that shows, by the way, this is similar to you see the screen well, right? Yeah, so this is similar to what was actually stolen from the employee of Uber. This is the format of Redline. It's one of the most famous info stealers. The way or the syntax they name the malware, the log file, you see the first couple of letters, EG, stands for the country, Egypt in that case. And the other random generated hash here, this is the hardware ID of the device. And then the infection date, April 23. Like when this device was compromised using that malware. But here you can see like lots of important information, including, for example, a screenshot of the laptop when it was compromised. This screenshot is not taken by me, it is taken by the malware itself. So once the malware infects the machine, it takes a screenshot from the machine for which you can easily tell he was actually browsing to that website here, saloaudio.com. He was downloading a file called file.7d. Once he downloaded that software, he executed it, he got infected. Once he got infected, a screenshot was taken from the device, but most importantly, all the passwords of that user was also stolen. So if I double click here, you see this is a text file from the info stealer, exactly what happened with Uber, basically. The info stealer is called Redline in that case. And then, of course, I redacted the usernames, but you can see all the Facebook accounts, for example, all the Gmail accounts, but most importantly, it will include also the corporate accounts. Okay, good question that I hear most of the time. Okay, we use two-factor authentication. It's useless. Why? Because the machine itself is compromised. So as an attacker who have access to machine, I can just wait for you to authenticate, take the cookies from your browser, which actually happened here. You could see like the cookies is here. Yeah, the cookies are here, sorry. And then from the cookies, you can just reuse the same cookies, and then you are logged in on behalf of that user. So unfortunately, two-factor authentication, mutual TLS authentication, whatever you name it, it's unfortunately useless in that sense because the machine itself is compromised. Okay, that's one thing. But also we can tell you up to the level of where the malware is actually on the machine, which helps companies actually during the investigation, because you don't have to even do instant response in a wide range of activities. You already know where the malware is on the machine, which is the one you can see here, named file location, and then the exe file. The other one important part as well, which if we browse through the process list, you can do a quick analysis of how this execution or malware execution happened. I'll scroll a bit down here. Yeah, here, for example, you see there was an exe file that was executed from the temp folder here, and then a chain of executables were executed, later on moved to minor policy, and then later on moved to the temp folder 123321, which at the end executed the final red line info stealer you see here. The previous ones are just loaders, and loaders means it's not the actual malware. It's just a very tiny exe file that would download and execute something else. Okay, so these are the data we can basically access for companies or also employees if they show any record in our database, which we are going to demonstrate today. Yeah, so how do we get access to this data? So millions of devices get compromised on a yearly basis. The hackers would have the log files, again, like the log files in the term of info stealers, which are zip files containing stolen credentials or stolen files as well. Once the hackers have access to this, they either publish part of it on Telegram, Discord, XSS.is, and those other websites, or they also have their own exclusive markets, or third case is that they are searching, for example, for some hackers who can help them cash out money. For example, the folder that I showed you in the browser passwords, you saw PayPal or something like this. So they would be asking for help from other hackers. Can you cash out money from PayPal? If yes, come in, help us. You take 40%, we take 60%. So there are multiple ways, but the research we did for 9 months is that we tried to identify vulnerabilities in the command and control servers of the top 3 info stealers. This is why we were able to access exclusive logs that other, I would say, vendors doesn't have access to, and this is why we called it hunting the hunters. Because, okay, we wait for the hackers to hack millions of devices, we go hack the hacker server, take the logs from there, basically. That's what we are going to see now. And of course, because we are the good guys, hopefully, we go and report to the companies who was compromised. For example, because we have access at the moment to 425 million compromised laptop, so we can tell Vodafone, for example, whom of the employees at Vodafone got his laptop compromised, whom of the employees at, Bank X got his employees compromised, up to the level, as I said, of where the malware is on the machine itself. Okay, so to demonstrate this here in besides Ahmedabad, I decided to do the research on the top 10 bug bounty platforms, telling you at the moment how many users from each platform was compromised, how many of them were employees of the company, how many were researchers, which are still hackers as well on these platforms. Starting with the most famous one, HackerOne. Okay, so this is the number we have right now, 4,837 username and password that we can use to log in at HackerOne. Think about it of if we use one single account, that one single account could have reported multiple 0 days to HackerOne, right? So using these more than, almost 5,000 accounts, we can gain access to, thousands of reports maybe, which could also contain 0 days, right? That's one example. But most importantly, and I have to also say the disclaimer here, this is not HackerOne being compromised. These are the researchers themselves getting their laptop compromised. I have to make that disclaimer very clear. Okay, and the most used password is password at 1234, lazy hackers. Yeah, which is repeated 63 times, so now you know my password already. Yeah, but anyway, so out of these thousands of numbers, we have 12 HackerOne employees. By the way, when we filtered this out, we removed any domain that's called We Are HackerOne, because I know this is used for searchers. So when we say it's an employee, it is always an email at HackerOne itself. Of course, without a plus as well. Okay, so statistics by country. We have more than 1,000 laptop compromised from India. Yay! Okay, I'm just kidding. Yeah, you see also Egypt is there, so we're good. Okay, and the other countries here, we show the top 6 countries. On the other hand, we show here the statistics yearly based. We have logs, by the way, from 2016 till the moment. This is why you see sometimes 2018, because we can historically track to the company, we can historically track when the employees go, or actually customers as well was compromised. This is the statistics per year and per month for each company. Next one. Oh, still India is on the top. Nice. Okay. So total number for Bugcrowd was 719. Out of them, there was out of these were actually 3 employees. Top info stealer was Redline. Password, I'm not sure if that's a phone number or no. Try to call this guy, maybe. Ayub sounds a familiar name to me. And these are the unique host names. And when we say unique host names, these are the host names. Do you recognize the password already? No, I hope it's not your password. So when we say unique host names, these are the host names at or the company we are targeting at the moment, which is in this case Bugcrowd. Of course, you can also see the statistics here per country and month and year as well. I will try to save time, but please feel free to stop me. Synack, yeah. Synack was actually the most, I would say, fascinating one. Of course, you could see multiple subdomains here, like synack.one login. This is the corporate login, by the way. Do we have anyone from Synack here? Because I have been told that we have Synack stuff here. But anyway, we see the subdomains or the host names that they have uniquely, like those compromised users can access. And finally, Egypt is on the top right now. Yay! Okay. Most used password, Synack, and then that phone number. The most info stealer that infected these machines is Vidar. And why I say it's very fascinating for Synack, I would say, well, fascinating if that's the right word, is because we have 21 compromised employees. I thought this might be something wrong. It couldn't be possible that we have 21 employee compromised. This is why I have this screenshot here, which actually proves indeed that most of it was indeed actual employees. So here, this is just one of the tables that we have. Of course, I cropped the rest of the table, but we have the password, the infection date, malware type, everything. I could see here synack.login, the second one in the row, and then the username was something at synack.com. So this is actual employee trying to log into a corporate domain name for Synack. Of course, when we say a researcher got compromised, then you have access to the reports that he submitted. But then when you compromise an actual employee of Synack, then you would have access to all the researchers' reports, hopefully. Yeah, hopefully not, actually. Yeah, and then the other websites you see here, these were testing accounts, but still, Synack is doing a major mistake, I would say, because you could see here, for example, the last one is called bin tester something, no MFA. So it was intentionally created vulnerable to be a testing account on one of the Synack customers portal. But this is why you see why did I say it's a major mistake? Because for HackerOne, when they do testing, when they have a testing environment, they create a separate domain called We Are HackerOne. You know, when you see a user for We Are HackerOne, this is not an actual HackerOne stuff. But here, if you see an email that's at Synack, it's you mostly think it's an employee of Synack. Okay, Detectify, it's pretty famous, I think, and this is the most used password. Vidar so far repeated password is 3 times, and the number of users compromised 114. Countries are there, year, month. Yes, we hack, and of course, again, another lazy password, pass at 1 to 3. Sandeep, I know this is your password. I told you I'll show your password. Yeah. The most info stealer that they were infected with is Aurora info stealer. And of course, the number is 117. It's still a huge number. If it's, even if it's like 10 users only or 10 researchers only is still a large number. Yeah, Yugusha. So Yugusha, we have these here, which you could see connect.Yugusha, Abby Yugusha, developers.Yugusha, Christmas, Jordan CTF. But the most important one, I would say, is developer.Yugusha, because we have 2 employees compromised. And if one of them is actually accessing the developer.Yugusha, that means you have access mostly to the source code or something of Yugusha in that case. This, I think, Bugbase is a bug bounty platform in India. Again, I have to stress on the fact that this is it's not Bugbase being compromised. It's the users who uses Bugbase are compromised. Okay. only 24 user in that case. Again, I have to stress on that all the time. Yeah, the most used password is Royal Tormenius something at 123, and actually because it was repeated one time, but why we say it's mostly used, because it was the latest result in the record, like the most updated one. Okay. Hackimproof. I'm not sure he was talking. Yeah, you were talking to me about Hackimproof for that. Yeah, but anyway. So we have also 53 security researcher, mostly infected with Redline, and the password is Abu00998. That was repeated 2 times. And again, also, by the way, when we say India comes first, is also because of the large number of researchers that are coming from India. It doesn't have to be any harmful description, right? Zerocopter is a Netherlands-based bug bounty platform, and we can also, because also it's not that much famous, they don't have that much base of researchers, but still we have 25 records going out from Zerocopter. Integrity and the full stack 2020 ad, that's the most used password of the researchers. We have 335, still a large number for integrity. By the way, if we have any representative for any of these companies in here, please feel free to reach out. I will be more than happy to share the results we have, the actual results, the actual passwords we have. Okay. How are hackers being hacked? In the sense of the cracked software, that was actually one reason of why you saw multiple hackers. Like, for example, for HackerOne, it was almost 5,000 security researchers get compromised, right? But how do they get hacked? Of course, Larry Liu, Dr. Farfar, and those of people who publish the cracked software, that's one source. But as another source would be, for example, cracked games. Like if you download a key generator, if you download a cheat engine for a certain game, for example, these are always like 100% malicious. Always. If it's free, if you get something for free, you are the product. It's a known fact. Torrent websites as well, mostly for movies, games, again, like games, mostly. Yeah, we talked about the cheat engines, key generators, fake proof of concepts. I have seen this, for example, the North Korean actors targeting security researchers and developers. They do publish fake POC, proof of concept code, when there is a vulnerability. They publish an actual exploit for the vulnerability on GitHub, but it's a modularized. It's modularized means once you execute that Python code or something, it will connect to the hacker server, download exe file, execute it on your machine. Porn websites. Yes, that's the most common reason. Hackers, they do always, well, whatever. Okay, tips to stay safe. By the way, when I say tips to stay safe, I still insist that these are only tips because security is layers, right? You cannot do one thing to secure the whole company. It's defense in depth. This is how they call it. It's layers of security. You add two-factor authentication. You add single sign-on, for example. You create a hard password policy for the users. You train your employees for awareness. It's layers. So this is why I call it tips, because it would be impossible to discuss all the ways to secure your employees from such attacks we explained here. But this is why I decided to only give high-level tips. And the most important part, I would say, is to train your employees. Training your employees or creating awareness environment would actually allow your employees to be more cautious when they browse websites. And when I say websites, of course, I might mean website like this one, but that's part of it. But mostly when they download cracked games. An employee would be thinking like, yeah, that's my personal laptop, I'm free. Yes, you're free. But in the era of pandemic, like Corona, everyone had a VPN access, right? So if his home laptop was compromised, with him having access to the corporate laptop through, to the corporate network through the VPN, that means the hacker would also have the same level of access, although it's a personal computer. But it's actually even more risky. Why? Because on the corporate laptop, the company would have SOC team monitoring 24/7. They have EDR, they have antivirus, data loss prevention, everything. However, on the personal laptop of the employee, the hacker is able to execute any tool he wants, no monitoring, nothing, and he still have access to the network through the VPN, right? So it's actually more risky, I would say. Okay, one good question. Why don't you use this data in bug bounty hunting, right? I see it in your eyes, I know. We did. We were able to hack into one of Facebook employees. We were able to reuse his credential at facebook.com, of course, to log into a meta.com portal, which was actually, employees portal. It was a very important one. I wish I can show you the screen, but we have some friends here who works at Facebook, so I cannot show you the screenshot. But anyway, it actually differs how the companies are treating this. When we initially reported this to Facebook, they thought that this is just a leaked username and password online. No, it's not. It's a compromised laptop. You saw the files. This is similar to how also Uber was hacked. This is similar to how we had access to the Facebook employee. We actually even had his cookies. So when Facebook told us in a previous response, hey, we have two-factor authentication, we showing them that we have the cookies, we were able to log in using the cookies, not even the username and password. So if they say here, as they said, we were able, while compromised credentials, which one? Yes, following your report, we have taken the necessary steps to rotate these. Like, they only changed the password. Think about it. If a malware is running on the machine, you change the password, the malware is still running on the machine. He will still get the new password. So this is where the confusion happened. We are not a service like Have I Been Boned or something. When LinkedIn get hacked, Have I Been Boned says like, hey, you have an employee who was logged in or registered at LinkedIn and his password was leaked. What should I do? It's LinkedIn, right? But what if I tell you your employee laptop is compromised? That's a different case. But anyway, Facebook still insisted that they are not paying for this. And this is why they say it's not eligible. However, for another company here, like for example, United Airlines liked the idea that we were able to report to them a compromised employee, but they said we have a product in place that do dark web monitoring. Again, all the companies, including Have I Been Boned, they said we do bug bounty. We do dark web monitoring, but this is not dark web monitoring. Anyway, we told them, good for you. We are able to catch this compromised laptop of an employee. 6 days later, we reported to them 2 more compromised employees for which we were able to reuse their credentials to access the flight management system. And that's why they sent us this nice message in yellow here. We have multiple products and services that alert us when there are United credentials showing up on the dark web or other breaches. You found these credentials before any of those tools did. So we like the feedback. This is why we used it also on the screen. For example, for Amazon, they paid us $100. Yeah. But this one here, we had access to Ford, the car company. I think it's a famous one. This one was a critical one. Why? Because you could see here, using this compromised employee, we were able to access, he was a DevOps employee, which means he had access to all the servers of Ford, like literally. Even the documents of how they do the whole process for DevOps, even for Azure, I think it was mentioned here somewhere there, yeah? And this is why they paid for this $5,000, because they consider this as a critical thing. So yeah, you could see the companies are dealing with this differently. Some says like, sorry, we don't pay. Some others says like, good for you, we are going to give you some free miles. Some gives you $100, some gives you $5K. It really depends, right? Okay, now the question is, what if I work at a company here in India, or I work at a bank or a mobile operator, and I want to know if you have any results or records for my company? Are any of my employees compromised? Please go to www.darkentry.net, which is our website. Just request a demo. Of course, you can search your company here, see if we have a record for it. And then you can request demo, and we will always be happy to provide you with the data. Only if you are able to use an email address at that domain. For example, if you want to see the usernames and password of Vodafone employees, then you have to have an email at Vodafone.com. That's one thing. But you also must be an authorized person. For example, what if you are a hacker like Sandeep who hacked an email at Vodafone.com and you are coming to ask us for the results, right? This is why we give you a DNS text record. We ask you to add that in the domain registrar, like GoDaddy or Namecheap or whatever. Once you're able to do this, we are 100% sure you are like really authorized person to see the results. We'll be more than happy to share it with you. But yeah, please browse the website, check it. Also request for a demo. You're always welcome. I am done, and these are my contact details. And this is a message that you should not really relay to Yassine, hopefully. But yeah, feel free to ask questions.
Sir, which 2 website do you recommend for download crack tools, means crack softwares?
Okay. This is going beyond what I expected. Okay. It's like asking which out of these forbidden things could be halal. It just doesn't make any sense. Okay, I always say avoid cracked software because, again, if someone is giving you something for free, you are the product. That's what I can say.
Sir, especially for Bob Suit Pro.
Where does that one come from? Okay, maybe because of the light I'm not able to see. Who is asking?
Sir, here only.
Yes.
For Bob Suit Pro, you recommend 2 websites.
For what, sorry?
Bob Suit Pro.
From Birdswagger.com, right? Or .net? The official website, of course.
Dr. Farfar, and you said
By the way, you do not have to download it cracked because Burp Suite can also can already give you 3 months for free for the professional product. You do not have to use a cracked version or something. You can download the full version for 3 months for free.
how can we get leaked data like you have?
How can you get what?
Leaked data
How can you get the leaked data?
that you have in your company.
How can you get the same leaked data that I have in my company?
Yes.
Okay. It's like asking the KFC guy, how do you do your receipt, right? Again, like you keep asking. Oh, man.
Hello. Sir, isn't what you are doing like hacking into laptops without permission is illegal?
Sorry, can you raise your hand? Yes,
Sir,
please.
you are hacking into other people's laptop without permission. So isn't that illegal in some sense?
That's a very good question. So the thing is, when I show a demonstration here of the results we have, for example, I said we have 5,000. Let me go back to that. Go back to that slide. Yes, HackerOne. When I say, for example, I have access to 4,873 username and password of researchers on HackerOne, that sounds scary, right? But did I ever try any single account? The answer is definitely no. Because we are doing this fully passive, what we do is, as I explained in the other screenshot, is that we monitor the dark web itself. If any of these data were published there, and again, not in the form of username and password, that's lame. We only monitor for compromised devices. So if we identify any compromised device, we archive it into our database, basically, and then it's searchable to the companies. Once you see a username and password, you are the company, please go and verify it. But which ones we verified is the ones we showed here, the ones that have bug bounty program. Like for Facebook, yes, we tried to log in with the username and password. We even tried to bypass the two-factor authentication. For Ford, yes, I even demonstrated a screen here for which we were able to log into the Ford systems. And actually, he was a critical employee, I would say, because he had access to the DevOps portal. Yeah, that we try. Because the company is allowing us to do this. They have a bug bounty program. If HackerOne, for example, is having access to the bug, is having a bug bounty program on their own, I would say, we are only allowed to test the emails at hackerone.com, but not the researchers' accounts.
Thank you, sir.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir, yes.
Yeah. Maybe another question as well is like, when do companies need us? When do you come to me like, hey, what is it you do? Only if you need to know whom of your employees and clients are compromised. Then we can help you. But another scenario is like, for example, a company that's called Coursier, that's one of our clients already. Coursier was compromised already. They do not use our service. They were hacked. They asked us, can you search the dark web and tell us how we were hacked? That scenario we can definitely do as well, yes. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, so actually my question was quite similar like that because I wanted to know, do we verify the passwords before we report it to the organization, or do we let the organization do it for them?
Yeah.
Because if I'm understanding correctly, I might just have an email ID like that, like something @hackerone.com
I understand.
and a random password. It might not actually be an account.
Yeah. So that's still a good question. And the answer is, once you see any record in our database, that means it is 100% valid. Why? Because we only parsed it from the compromised laptop. Okay. That's what I'm saying. So if you see a password that we have, that means we parsed it from the passwords to text file, which means it was actually stolen from the employee himself. It's not something on a third-party website like Have I Been Boned or Dehashed or these websites. No. It's something that was actually parsed from the employee laptop himself.
Okay.
And if, for example, you are using our service and you see any employee of your company got compromised, we will always provide you with a plain log file, like this file you see here, which could also include a screenshot, as I explained, that demonstrates how that user was hacked. It's not only about giving you, hey, like you have this username and password. No, it's not like this. We tell you the full process. We give you the plain log file. Like, this is what was actually stolen, including, for example, you see a folder called the credit cards. So it's not just a username and password, no.
Cool. That answers the question. Thank you.
Okay, I think we are running mostly out of time. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me after the session. Thank you so much.